From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with OSU beat writer Scott Wright. Scott, the NFL Combine has come to a close for the Cowboys, and a lot of what we expected out of some of the marquee guys, but then some guys that really kind of went above and beyond and impressed. Let's start with Trey Flowers, a guy that was an anchor in that defensive secondary for a lot of years, but I think opened some eyes with his performance at the Combine.
Yeah, he absolutely did. The only defensive player invited. He showed up, measured well, which we all expected. Everybody had seen how long he was. You knew that he was going to have that great wingspan, which measured among the best of all the skill players at the NFL Combine. He goes out and runs a 4.45 40 on Monday, which was a pretty exciting moment for him. Big deal for him to go show that speed. Best 40 of any of the Oklahoma State players that were at the Combine. So that was really important for him. Going through some of the other drills and performing well, that was important as well. A lot of coaches wanted to see how well he moved his hips and how he could turn and do all of those sorts of things. And from all accounts, he held his own there as well. So with the long body, he showed that he could add some weight. He gained 9 pounds just since the East-West Shrine game in late January. That's one of the things that NFL coaches wanted to see from him was him adding some weight to that long frame, and they'll probably want to add some more down the line. But showing that he could add that weight was important, and then going out and still running the good times that he did was a really big deal for him, and really probably gave him a little bit stronger case to be one of those mid-round guys.
Another guy that probably helped himself out is Lacy, and he's a guy that, with the dearth of talent at wide receiver this year, even if you watch the Cowboys a lot, sometimes you forgot how good Lacy was. Yeah. I think NFL scouts now have a sense he could be pretty good. Yeah,
absolutely. It's interesting to see a guy who didn't have a ton of production, especially in the Oklahoma State offense, when he's going out there. 3 Oklahoma State receivers, 2 of them are 1,000-yard guys, and he had a far less productive year as far as catching the ball. But he does so many other things. A big guy, 6'3", 205. And he showed up, and then he goes and runs the best 40 out of the 3 OSU receivers at a 4.51. Outruns James Washington. So got himself up in the top 15 among all the receivers at the Combine. Did a fairly good job in the on-field drills, and showed his agility, his speed. And obviously they like his body, which is probably the biggest reason that he got invited to the Combine anyway, because of being 6'3", 205, and being a team guy that's willing to go throw blocks and do all of those sorts of things. So he had a chance to either really help himself or stay off the map, which is where he had been. So this was a great opportunity, and he really helped his case to move up there and get himself on some draft boards.
The 3 marquee, if you will, Cowboys that went, Mason Rudolph, James Washington, Marcell Ateman, seem to basically do or be to NFL scouts what we thought they would. Yeah. Mason Rudolph being the heady quarterback, Ateman being physically, just really off the charts with some of his measurements. But when you think about those 3 guys, Scotty, is there a guy or an area that needs to really be addressed at OSU's Pro Day coming up? It's the 15th of March, so less than 2 weeks away in Stillwater. A guy that could really help himself in any way at Pro Day?
Well, I would say that Mason Rudolph probably needs a chance to throw the ball a little bit better, and a more comfortable environment with his guys out there. I think that he'll be able to show a little bit different side of himself. He didn't throw horribly at Pro Day or at the Combine, but going out and doing that at Pro Day would probably help him. Other than that, he really showed himself to be exactly what we knew that he was. He really impressed coaches in the interviews and meetings with teams, GMs and scouts and everybody like that. So throwing was probably the one negative on his sheet for the week. James Washington is a guy that's just not going to go crazy at a Combine. He's one of those guys that has in-game talent and speed that just doesn't necessarily show up when you run a straight 40 or a cone drill or whatever it might be. So, and they were even commenting on that during the broadcast. Mike Mayock says this guy plays a lot faster than what the stopwatch shows. And then Marcel Aitman, like you said, just really showed, had the great measurements, showed some real agility for a guy that's 6'4.5" and almost 220 pounds, which he'll be getting back up to that weight in at 216 because he wanted to run a little bit faster and helped himself in the 4.6s with his 40s, which is about what you expect of a guy of that size. And then the other agility drills he did really well. So and he caught the ball really well as well in the passing drills. So those guys just doing whatever NFL scouts want to see of them. That'll be the important thing for them on Pro Day. And then obviously Pro Day is a big day for the other guys that didn't get to go to the Combine.
And we'll talk a lot more about that next week, and obviously have extensive coverage of OSU's Pro Day, who those guys are that do need to make a statement that didn't go to the Combine. We'll have a lot of that information coming up again March 15th for Pro Day in Stillwater. And by the way, spring football practice starts the 27th of March, so we'll continue to have coverage as we build up to that as well. So be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.